the Commission on Disability meeting, and we're going to start with the roll call to establish agenda and quorum.
All right, I'm going to read the roll. Linda Baker,
Here.
Amber Banner, not present. Luke Barber, no. David Forrest,
Here.
thank you. Gabriela Garbero, let me know that she would not be in attendance today. Stephen Harris, no. Josh Lewis, here. Stephanie McDowell, no. Brandon Morris, no. Sue Orton,
Present.
Cheryl Rose, here. Thank you. Sheila Suter-Wallace, present. Thank you. Robin Wallen,
Here.
thank you. We do not have a quorum.
Okay, so therefore we can't approve the minutes. So we do have the quorum. It might be in April that we approve. We have, is it Miss Webb?
We have some other individuals on the meeting. There's Melissa Webb with Bi-State or Metro. And there's also some other attendees who are members of the public on here. I will note that any member of the public who wants to make public comment is required to register before the meeting. And they can do that in person or by sending it to my email address, dlancaster@stlouiscountymo.gov, or by calling 314-615-1796.
Thank you. I believe we have a guest from Bi-State Metro, the developments that happen with the system. So as well, you can start.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Hello. Just Yes, do you hear us? You can start your meeting.
Yes, I can. Thank you so very much.
We can't hear you.
I apologize. You can't hear?
We do not hear you.
I am sorry. I'm having some technical issues earlier.
It looks like Ms. Webb has said she's having some technical difficulties, so we'll give her just a moment to get her sound correct. And I also noticed that Steve Harris has joined the meeting. Is that correct? Steve, are you in attendance?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum present.
Steve, okay, so I want to go back to number 2. Please look at your meeting. I mean, not your meetings, your minutes. Your minutes from February. Yeah. And if there's any changes, please state so. Otherwise, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Sharon approves. Who wants to second? David. David, second. Thank you. Ms. Webb, do you think, oh, she's on the phone. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead with my chairperson report. Tomorrow, Chair, I believe Sue Ford is going to join us to present our annual report to the council committee on disability. Lisa Clancy is the chair. I forgot it's only three of them, but I forgot who the two members are.
Carter
Harder.
and went from Freeport, Bangor. What?
Okay,
It begins with a B, I'm pretty sure.
okay. So we're meeting with them tomorrow afternoon. Meanwhile, we're waiting to hear from Lisa's office, Councilwoman Clancy. Her office is supposed to organize another meeting with the Home Builders Association and their agent commission. So that's on hold. They have reassured me they want to present something this year to the council. So hopefully that will happen because we have worked on it for several years. I do want to take a moment to thank Steve Harris in bringing up the parking issues and to add that to my report when I talk to tomorrow as something I want them to be aware. So thank you. And if you have any resources where you got that information, email that to me so I'd be ready to hand over to the council members.
Okay.
Yes, somebody.
Hello?
Steve said okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's.
Going back to Ms. Webb.
Hello, Commissioner, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we're good. Thanks.
So you can start your report.
Went away.
Ms. Webb, it looks like you might be muted.
You are new.
Can you hear me now? So our system doesn't like to work with your WebEx system, so I apologize. This technology, it's not really working together. So thank you all for allowing me to be here. My name is Melissa Webb. I work with Bi-State Development with the MetroLink Department Division. And right now we are working on some amazing improvements, and I wanted to come and talk to you about those. We're working on the secure platform plan, and I do have a PowerPoint presentation if Dana would like to start that.
Okay, on the spot. Let me get that presented and in the meeting.
Well, while she's doing that, just a little bit of background about me. So I am a retiree from the St. Louis County Police Department. I retired about 2 years ago. I had the pleasure of working with the MetroLink unit when I was a police captain. And when I retired, some of my colleagues reached out to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Would you like to come back and help us out with this phenomenal project?" And I was like, absolutely. So I've been with Bi-State for about 1.5 years, working with Mr. Scott. He's our general manager of security for all of Bi-State development. And it's been an amazing year and 4 months. We've opened up so many of our platforms, and the project is moving full steam ahead. The PowerPoint that I prepared for you is an overall view of the project in and of itself. And I was wondering if anybody had already previously had any knowledge about our secure platform plan. A little bit?
So,
Yeah. So while Dana is working on the PowerPoint, if she can't get it up, I can just talk about the project in and of itself. So the secure platform plan,
We have pause for a second to adjust the captions before I share the screen. So just let me know when you're ready and we'll go ahead and switch that.
you can go right ahead. We can start now if you would like.
Okay, one moment. Okay, we're ready to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So as you can, this slide is a slide that has a rendering of the Cortex station. It says secure platform plan, strengthening our foundation insight on our secure platform plan progress by state development. The rendering is shown, it's a gate array, and it also shows several people standing around the platform. It looks very similar to our Cortex station in real life. If you'd like, go ahead and switch to the next slide. The next slide is a system-wide security assessment by WSP. On this slide, it's titled that, and then there is a photograph of several individuals sitting at a table signing a piece of paper, flanked by several other individuals behind them. The 4 individuals that are at the table are the 3 heads of St. Clair County, St. Louis City, and St. Louis County, the police organization. So it's Chief Belmar, if you recognize him, he's in the middle with the white shirt. But the other gentleman on the side is Talby Roach, which is our CEO of Bi-State Development. The people that are standing behind them are county police officers. It looks like our very own Kim Sell from Citizens of Mass Transit is there. And then there's a few of my security team members standing behind. That was a very important day for this organization and for the region, because that day was the day that they made a decision that they were going to do a deep dive assessment into our transit system, especially with regard to security. From that, they were given 99 recommendations. And those recommendations have been the cornerstone of everything that our General Manager Scott, has moved forward and done. And everything that you are seeing with regard to our secure platform plan are all the recommendations, or they fit within several of those recommendations within that WSP document. Next slide, please. So let's think of the WSP document, those 99 recommendations, that deep dive into transit. It's an open door. They let them in. The assessment team came in. They were here for quite some time. And it was a deep dive, honest review of everything that was good and everything that was not. So if we look at the WSP document as the foundational piece with which Mr. Scott, Mr. Roach, and his team have moved forward for the last several years. The next piece of that home would be the real-time camera center, which is indicated on this slide and titled as such. There's a photograph on this slide that has 4 individuals that the photograph is taken of their backs, but they're looking towards several closed caption television screens. That is the real-time camera center. That camera center is it's continually evolving as the secure platform plan moves forward to its full fruition. Those views provide real-time viewing along our system. They not only provide real-time viewing by those individuals that occupy those seats in that particular photograph, but what that does is that allows us to be proactive. So what they do is they monitor those camera views on the platforms, on the interior of all of our rolling stock, to include our light rail vehicles, our caller rides, and also our bus stock that is out there in the world. They can actually live feed into any one of those if anyone needed us. And what they're doing is being proactive. So they're finding situations that are customer conduct things, and we're stopping them before they elevate. So if we were to say that the WSP assessment is that foundation of our home that we're building upon, I would say that the real-time camera center are the walls of our home. What I want to talk about with regard to the real-time camera center, what's really amazing that has happened is that we have put video surveillance on the exteriors of all of our vehicles that are out there in the region. So what we have done now is, in essence, created a surveillance system, a moving surveillance system. And the region has benefited from that because we have had well over 550 requests from local and state and federal law enforcement agencies that want our video footage to assist with situations that happen outside of our purview. So we've assisted so many organizations, all law enforcement, with well over 550 incidences. So I always try to tell people that's 550 victims that we're helping get justice for. The other thing that's amazing too is that we're able to now live feed in. So what does that mean for us as transit community members? That means that if I'm out on the MetroLink and I call, or I hit the emergency button, or I text, my dispatching center can live feed into that vehicle. So if you're in a bus and something happens and you need us, they can live feed in to you wherever you are at. Same for all of our caller rides. Next slide. This next slide says, and is titled the Real-Time Camera Center, and it provides an example of just how amazing the view is. This is a photograph that is of Emerson Park. It shows two of our transit security specialists and two of our transit community members and myself. We had gone out on a tour, which I do all the time. We go out on the system and I show everyone what's going on with the secure platform plan. Excuse me. And I thought it would be really cool to show people just how amazing and detailed this photograph is. And that's not even honed in all the way. So the real-time camera center provides such a great view. It's very clear. Obviously, you can tell from this photograph that there's a bag of McDonald's sitting on the bench next to the transit security team member. There's a book bag with what appears to be Metro written on the front of it, sitting next to myself on the bench. So I wanted to show people just how specific and just how amazing these views are. And this isn't its full capability. Next slide. This next slide, again, is titled the Real-Time Camera Center. But on this slide, which is very important, and I really hope that we can all share this phone number and this text number too, we're trying very hard to talk about educational pieces too. So this is this slide has a photograph of a young lady who is one of our transit security team members. And next to her, it says, see something, say something. And then there's an image of a phone. And then it says Metro Transit Public Safety, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's a text number, which is 314-300-0188. And then there's a phone number, a telephone number also, where you can call, and it's 314-289-6873. So I've gone out and I've talked to so many people as I've gone out and done tours, and I thought this would be a really nice place to put this slide so that we could talk about this a little bit. But it's important for everyone to help us to make our transit system safe. So if you see something, it's imperative that you say something. And there are options. So a lot of people are always like, well, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to make a phone call, or I don't want to hit the passenger assist terminal. But what we have is an option for anyone who can text. So if you don't want anyone knowing what's going on around you, you can text our public safety dispatchers. It's the same people that are handling all the camera systems. They can then hone in on you and ensure your safety. And then they can also get anyone and all the help that you need there. So for instance, if you don't call, then we don't have the opportunity to make things better with our community, correct? But if you do call, that gives us the opportunity to send our teams out so that we can make your transit experience better. Next slide. So we talked about the WSP report, and then we talked about our real-time camera center. We also talked about the fact that it's important for all of us in the community to participate in making the community safe by allowing us, the transit security team, to come in when you need us, right? So the secure platform. We know that our MetroLink system is an open concept system. And we also know that the WSP set forth 99 recommendations. Well, one of those recommendations is exactly what we're doing, the secure platform plan. On this particular slide, it's titled Security Fencing. There are 3 vignettes, 3 photographs on this slide, and it shows on the one slide, it shows, I guess the poles, I guess that's the best way to put it, the post for our fencing. And then it also gives you 2 examples in the other 2 photographs of the fencing. The fencing and the posts are black. The fencing is a wire, and it looks very similar if anyone has seen or touched or felt the fencing at our soccer team's practice field. Next slide. Along with the fencing upgrades to secure the platforms, we have the gating system, or what we call the gate array. On this slide, it says gating system, and there's a photograph of the gating system that is at Emerson Park. It has 2 rototype gates on the exterior, and then on the interior, it has 2 swing type gates. It is also flanked by that same fencing that I described on the previous slide. The 2 types of gates are going to be described a little bit more as we go. But the 2 interior gates that are the swing gates, those gates are there for anyone who needs them. And what's most amazing is that you don't have to worry. There'll be someone to help you. So our gating system, the gate arrays, the secure platform plan, what most people don't know is the first package 1 and then package 2, they will be staffed by our transit security team members. So I do get a lot of questions like, well, what happens when I show up to the gate and I don't know what to do? Well, you don't have to worry about that, because you're going to be greeted by one of my transit security team members at the gates. So if there's a question or you're not sure how to activate the gate or what to do, they're right there. What will happen is when you arrive and you show fare, the transit security team member will then activate the gates, allowing you through to the platform. Next slide, please. This next slide is titled Gating System. It has a photograph. Actually, it's not a photograph, it's a rendering. This rendering is of our Washington Park stop. It is a gating system, or like I said, a gate array. It contains 4 gates, 2 of which are the roto gates, and the interior 2 gates are the swing gates. This picture also shows the increase in camera views. As I said earlier, that our real-time camera center is going to grow. It grows with every stop that we complete. I can't give you a specific number of camera view increases for each platform because every platform is a project within and of itself. But I can tell you that there are some of our platforms that have gone from 10 cameras to 25 cameras. And that's at every location. In this photograph there, or in this rendering also, there is a female with her shopping bags, another female walking towards the gate, and a gentleman walking towards the swing gates. Next slide, please. This slide is a specific data sheet. I wanted to include this so that people could understand the dimensions of these gates. It is titled Orion Maxima MR-T673 Turnstile. So while I use the term roto, they use the term turnstile. This is directly from Orion Entrance Control Incorporated. There's a small vignette inside of this slide. It says Orion Maxima MR-T673 full height turnstile product data sheet. It has features, it has material options, and then it has dimensions. By the way, these are the turnstile gates that we are using at all of our platforms. I think that the most important on this is highlighted in yellow to me, and it's passenger width, and I do apologize, passenger height should have been highlighted in yellow also. But passenger width is 670 millimeters. And then passenger height is 2,125 millimeters. So I think it's important that we know those dimensions and that we put that out to the public, because there are people that are like, I'm not sure that, my device will go through, or they're concerned about whatever it is that they need to get through those gates. That provides folks with that information. Next slide, please. And on the next slide, it is titled Orion MS-102 Accessible Gate. And again, it is the Orion Entrance Control Incorporated product data sheet that is inside this slide. It says Orion MS-102 is a full height gate product data sheet. It includes features, material, and dimensions. And again, I highlighted the passenger width because I think that's important. And I apologize, the complete width wasn't, or passenger height wasn't highlighted on this slide, but passenger height is at 2,125 millimeters. And then passenger width is at 1,044 milliliters. I think that, millimeters, I'm sorry. I think that that's really important, again, to show people the spatial limitations and abilities of these particular full gates. Next slide, please. On this slide, it's titled Emerson Park. So just a little bit more about the secure platform. The secure platform plan originally was placed into several packages, so it was parceled off. Package 1 include Emerson Park, Washington Park, JJK, and College, or also known as SWIC. Those 4 stops were selected by the engineering firm because it was easier to work with those particular terrains, and they were a little less complicated than what we're currently dealing with regard to the platforms that are in highly populated area with lots of infrastructure around. So on this slide, which is our very first stop that we completed and it launched, it is titled Emerson Park, and there are 4 photographs that I took personally of the launch. So the very first photograph, and all the photographs, the gate array is in the center and most prominent in all the photographs. But in the top photograph, it's a little different than the others because it shows the amazing artwork at Emerson Park, because they do such a good job over there with incorporating all that fun, whimsical artwork with our platforms. And then the other 3 photographs are similar in the sense that I wanted people to understand what they would see and what the view would look like when you arrive. And the view is there are people walking up to the gates, and there is a transit security team member that is in a yellow shirt and black pants, and he is greeting our transit community as they come to the gates and all of the photographs. So you as a transit community member, you arrive, you show fare or you validate your ticket, and then our transit security team member is going to be there to proxy card you in and to ensure that you get through. Next slide, please. This next slide is titled Jackie Joyner Kersey. So that was one of the first platforms other than Emerson that obviously launched. There's a photograph that I took. It's just to describe it, it's the gate array, but I really wanted to focus in on a few key components in this particular photograph. And it's showing you, it's got 4 camera views that were not there before. And our passenger assist at the front and at the rear of all gates, there are passenger assists available. So on this, you can see that the 4 cameras are in view, and I'm more focused in on that in the passenger assist terminal. There is a gentleman that is in the background who is still finishing up a few construction parts for this. But that just goes to show how much real-time cameras, how much we're growing the real-time camera center. Next view. I don't think that this is going to work, but I know it won't. This is a video. So part of the issue with the secure platform plan is that we're trying to get the education out to everyone. So we created a video that I will ensure that you all get that works. And we wanted to create an educational video so that we could send this out to our transit community. And we've done so by putting this out on 5 social media platforms that we started a year ago, along with it being on our rideonmetro.org website. So I think it's imperative that we educate as we open and we launch. But what people don't know, a lot of people are like, well, how do I get the video? Well, what most people don't know is that our platforms are our advertisement. So if you're a transit community member, you've probably seen and seen the changes in the advertisement or the QR codes out on our platforms. So we're trying to use our facilities to help educate our transit community, especially about this particular project. This video is showing how you walk through our secure platform plan at the Emerson platform. It shows our transit security team member meeting you, accepting your ticket, and then you walking through our secure platform plan. Next slide. Before I end, I talked about packages. So right now we are finishing up package number 2 with our grand location. We're very excited. We're hoping by March 21st. That's the deadline our general manager has given us to finish that platform. And we are out to bid for the remainder of the platforms. That package, which is package number 3, we call it package number 3, has been broken up into Illinois and Missouri. So we're waiting to announce who was awarded those construction bids. Once we know that, the secure platform team is already ready to go. They're ready to start building. They're ready to start breaking ground. They're very excited to move this project forward. The other thing that we do when we do a launch, I talk about education. I talked about the websites that we have and also our social media platforms. I provide tours. I have had over 1,700 people come with me into the real-time camera center and then go out to the platforms with me, and I educate them about what this project looks like for everyone. So I offer that to anyone. I've had people from top echelon government people. I've had people from all over. I enjoy it. It's really neat because instead of wondering what it's going to look like, they can actually come with me and we can actually go through and show them what it is. So I offer those tours. This slide here is my thank you slide. It has my name, Melissa Webb, Director of Security and Media and Customer Engagement by State Development. My phone number is also on this. It's 314-982-1400, extension 2251. My cell phone is also on this slide, 314-363-1792. My email address is on this slide. It's mmwebb, that's MMWEBB at metrostlouis.org. And also I've provided the Ride On Metro website. So that is https://www.rideonmetro.org/security. That's where we update the project. So if you want to keep tabs on it and see where we're at and what's going on, the website there also explains everything that I've talked to you about today. And again, like I said before, I would love to have you all come in. I would love to host you. If you would like to come in, just give me a call. And that is the end of my presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate your presentation and that last slide. Then I'm going to email that to the membership if they didn't have a chance to get your information. Any comments or questions for Ms. Webb? I see Robin got her hand up. Robin?
Okay, I just have a really quick question. You were talking about that security personnel would be at the gates to assist people. Is this a permanent thing or will it actually be automated at some point? And the reason I'm asking is because as a person with low vision and for a lot of seniors, those gates have a lot of metal and things that blend together that are going to be very hard for people to navigate. So that was my comment and my question.
So Robin, thank you so much. So I'm super happy to hear from you, and we want to hear from folks. We want to understand. That's why it's always really nice to bring people in here and then we talk and then we can work through those things. But so right now, package 1 and package 2 are going to have transit security team members there. There is a much anticipated fair project that is tracking with our project, and they say January of 2026, I believe. They will have that fair component here and then it will begin its integration into the secure platform plan. So what does that look for our transit community at that moment? We don't know. We're going to adapt, obviously. But maybe there won't be as many people at the gates. But that's something that we're going to work on as we move forward. But the blending together comment that you made, I'm going to bring that back to the secure platform planning team to let them know that that will be a concern as it moves forward. I hope I answered your question.
I really appreciate that because in looking at the renderings, and I haven't actually seen it myself, I know for a lot of people with low vision, and this includes seniors, as they get things like cataracts, macular degeneration, you have a problem with the sunlight against the metal, but also with so many bars, it just kind of blends in together. So I think that's an important thing to just bring back. So I appreciate you bringing that back to them to look at. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I do know that the gate array, just so you know, it while they're up, okay, and they have launched in those locations, we are still, because of St. Louis weather, we haven't been able to put any of the lettering or decals on any of the gate arrays. So it'll be, once the weather kind of stabilizes here in St. Louis, we'll be able to put some of that up. And so it'll be interesting to see if that changes the view. So, but I will definitely bring this up in our next planning meeting, which is tomorrow, by the way.
Thank you.
No, not a problem. Thank you.
And Josh has a question.
Not really a question, just a comment. Good job. That's what my comment is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay, you're welcome. My question is about the matter, does that impact people with pacemakers?
You know, I've never had that question asked of me.
I know when
I'm wondering, so
I know someone who has a pacemaker and 2 knee replacements and 2 hip replacements, and so she's full of metal. So
right.
she goes through a special thing with security, and she goes through the airport.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I have metal all over too. So I have to carry something so that but this is stainless steel. So I know that I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't want to comment, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to make sure that those data sheets were added to this for those questions. So I can look into that though and definitely try to get you an answer. I don't know who I would speak to. Maybe the director of health with St. Louis County, they might have an opinion on it, maybe.
It's no x-ray or anything like that. I mean, that's the thing that when you go to the airport, if you're going through something that scans your body, there's no scanning there, is there? It's just.
No scanning. No scanning. We do, however, I didn't get to touch on it because I just wanted to talk to you about our secure platform plan, but we do have I don't know if anyone has seen our roving metal detectors. Has anyone seen the roving metal detector program that we have?
No, I have not. Robin or anyone else, have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Okay, maybe I can come back and talk about that, or you guys could come and visit me, and we could tour, and I could show you that in action. But these gates do not have any scanning on them whatsoever. They're just simply gates, and you know they open up. They are actuated with a proxy card, and they open up as long as you have fare. And then there's cameras all over flanking them. So I wouldn't think there would be an issue, but again, I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't know. But I can certainly look into that and get an answer for you for sure.
Okay.
Steve-
Okay,
Steve
well,
has-
thank you. Any more comments or questions before we wrap this up? Oh, I've already spoke, Steve, you have your hand up.
Yeah, she may have just answered it. And navigating in a wheelchair, those center doors, do they open automatically then?
So, Steve, that's a great question. What will happen is that in package 1 and package 2, you will arrive at our platform, and our transit security team member will ensure that you have fare, and then they will proxy card you in, and they will articulate open for
Okay.
you.
So if at some point it's automated in the future, it'll automatically open and close behind you.
Correct, yes, sir. And that's at 2026 of January, once the fare component catches up, and then it's able to be integrated with the gates.
So
All right.
there's no person there, a person in a wheelchair can't get through?
No, 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 no. So package 1 and package 2. So all of those platforms that are open here, the 4 in Illinois, and then the ones that are here in St. Louis, those have transit security team members. But in January of 2026, the fare component that is coming, you will be able to walk up to the gate like any other. There's several other transit authorities across the nation where you will be able to provide a ticket or a pass to a machine. And I don't want to go too deep into this because I don't really know. It's not my project. And then the gates will open up if you have proper fare.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about that component to this, to our fare, to our transit system, I can also see if you'd like to have one of our, Tom Curran, he's actually heading up that project for us. So that, if you wanted to learn more about the new fare system that's coming.
We can discuss that later. Dana, has a question.
Oh, I wanted to just ask about when people are leaving the platform. It looked like this was really focused on how people are getting onto the platform. Are they also going through the same system or a different system to leave?
Yes, so there's indicator lights on the tops of all of the gate arrays that have the in, and obviously the transit security team member is going to be out front, right, when they bring you into the gating system, as long as you have fare. But on the opposite side, we have directional signage, and it also shows that these are our exit points. So the reason there are those, like for instance, those 4 gates, right? You have the turnstile and then you have the swing. One each of those. So one of the swings and one of the turnstiles will be an entry, and that's where your transit security team member will be at. And then the other 2 will be an exit. And again, your transit security team member is on the other side, so they can assist you if you need help exiting the system.
I had something popped up in my head. You mentioned that transit security people will be stationed here and there. Will there be any signage or a phone number that they can call and like to your camera center to contact someone that they may need assistance?
Yes, so we are, again, with St. Louis weather, we're working on that right now. There is going to be signage up. And by the way, the one slide that I described earlier in the presentation, which was, unfortunately, it was titled Real-Time Camera Center. It should have said, see something, say something. Those are everywhere on our system. Everywhere. They're on our LRVs, which is our light rail vehicles, our trains. They're on the platforms, they're on our buses, they are on our caller rides. If you ride MetroLink and you know the monitors that are in the cars that show behind you, that is encased in this, where it says, see something, say something. But yet we're always working on signage. We're always trying to get more out there so that people's attention is drawn to it. And I'm hoping And if there's a way that you could take that information that we discussed today, that's why I think it's so important. That slide is very important to me. If you all could take those phone numbers out and push that out, that would be so helpful for us and for our transit community, just to get that information out and just to get that education out. The next video, educational video that we're going to produce here in security is going to be only about see something, say something.
And that's why I suggested your last slide, then I could send that to the membership of the commission, so they would have that information, and also send it to the chair of the agent commission, because I think they could.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be wonderful. Any help that you can get in getting this information out to people so that they have that number, so that they feel more safe, they call us when they need us. That's so important to us. So I appreciate any help with that.
Okay, I thank you, Jen, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could get a little bit more clarification about the exiting. I'm just imagining how it works when people are getting onto a train platform. They're kind of coming one by one, but when the train arrives and everyone gets off, you can have a lot of people coming out at the same time. So I wasn't clear. Is it still that a safety staff person is waving a card for each person to exit?
No, absolutely not. No. At that point you push a button and you go on through. So it's literally like, and I'd love for you to come out and see it, because a lot of people are like, well, that's a lot of people coming off at one time, and is there a backup and how do they do it? But yeah, you walk up to the gate, there is a push button, you push it and then you exit the gate. If you need assistance exiting the gate, the transit security team member will come over there and proxy you out.
So I hate to ask this question, but what prevents somebody coming off of the train, pushing the button to let somebody in?
The transit security team member that's present.
Okay.
And then so let's just say an emergency arises, because the transit security team members are there to assist anyone and everyone, okay? So if something happens and their attention is drawn to someone else, right? And they're not at the gate for whatever reason, the only time they ever leave the gate in that sort of a manner would be for an emergency, a life-saving emergency, okay? And the only reason I'm bringing this up is we had it happen one time. Someone had to rush to go render aid. What happens in those instances is the real-time camera center, that slide that I showed you with the wall of cameras, they then can work the gates from our center. So those gates are always, I mean, our real-time camera center has full control of those gates at any moment and at any time. Because a lot of people are like, well, what happens if there's like a big rush? Or, I don't know, there's a game, or whatever the case may be, or they just need to get out quick. Our gates can be swung open and automated from the real-time camera center, and they can remain open. And then we can put all those camera views on that particular gate if there were an emergency that were to arise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to have a lot of new staff people to do this. Is there funding for that? Because we always hear that there's funding issues.
Well, I will tell you, Mr. Scott's amazing. Kevin Scott, if you haven't met him, you all should come down and meet him. It's a great question that you ask. Everything with regard to the staffing for the secure platform plan was monies that we already had. So none of the monies, it's not an increase. These are monies that he's had, and we have increased staffing. Yeah, we have increased staffing quite a bit. But in April, what he's done is that there's a bid for a contract for our security, and that contract will reflect what we have now increased for the secure platform plan.
Sheila, you had your hand up.
How long is the footage at from the real-time cameras?
So we're working on a cloud-based situation.
And would you follow the same safeguards, say as the police department does with their, real-time cameras?
When you say, oh, the safeguards as in what, the storage, you mean?
And also the use of the footage?
Oh, yes, yes, ma'am, yes, 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 yes. That's a great question. So, yes, and we do not allow our video footage to go out except to law enforcement. Lots of people call and ask for it, and I have to tell them no. Uh, but yeah, we have the same safeguards. I kind of think we might have a more stringent system than before, to be honest with you.
That's good to know. Thank you for that question. It's wrap it up because we still have a meeting to conduct here. So thank you for your attendance, Ms. Webb. And we'll be in touch if we need further information.
Thank you so very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Okay, move on to the ADA coordinator report.
Yes, thank you. I don't know that I have a lot to talk about at the moment. I'm being kept very busy with my, my job accommodations for the county staff, and the training that I'm providing, and also doing my own professional development. I was just reminded that, I know one priority of this commission was that the county ADA coordinator would have the ADA coordinator certification. And I do have that. So part of that is for me to renew my certification every year, which happens in March this month. And at this point, when I'm recertifying, I'm only required to have 5 credit hours to recertify each year. But when I submitted my paperwork, I noticed that I had, over 20 credits for the year. I do try to at least once or twice every month take some kind of professional development course that's going to make sure that I'm keeping current to developments as it pertains to job accommodations or Title II, how people are accessing our county services. So that is a priority for me. I thought I would just mention that. I also, we heard some really good comments about parking at the last meeting, and so I wanted to just note one thing that I've noticed. There was some information about Fairfax County and how they increased the minimum parking from what the ADA requires to something higher. And I thought I would look at that as it pertains to the parking that we have in Clayton at the building that I work at. This is the Courts Garage in Clayton, and it covers our staff for the courts building, the police headquarters building, and the administration building, as well as any jurors who are disabled who are accessing the courthouse building, or any visitors to the administration building. And if we were following the ADA minimum number of spaces there, we would only need to have 22 accessible spaces in that parking garage. But what we actually have is 68 accessible spaces in that parking garage. So you can see that it's more than 3 times the minimum number, but we have that number because that meets what demand is there. It's more important to make sure that we have adequate spaces for everyone that needs one than just providing that minimum number. So even if we were following that Fairfax County amount that they had prescribed, it would still only be 31 spaces that we would be. So I can see in our experience in that particular example that the ADA minimum is too low to actually meet the needs that we have and that we see on a regular basis. And so it is necessary to go above that minimum. And even that Fairfax County minimum that they implemented is still much lower than what we found necessary.
Do you, when you go into the garage, are all of the spaces usually filled? The 68?
It depends on the day. I would say I don't ever see them fully filled, but if they were fully filled, it would be because we're having a county council meeting, we've got new employee orientation, where people haven't been assigned parking spaces yet, and it's a busy court day, and they're calling in a lot of jurors. You get kind of a trifecta of things going on, it gets a lot fuller.
Well, that's really, that's great that you, I mean, that's great information to present, that the number of spaces is, I mean, that you have actual data to show that the number of spaces is not adequate.
And this is for, you know, a large garage. Let me see if I have it's more than 1,000 parking spaces in this garage. I wonder, you know, when you're talking about a very small lot, have a business, a lot that only has, say, 10 spaces, I could see where they wouldn't necessarily want to put in 3 accessible spaces. They want to maybe just have 1 or 2. But when you get a really large facility and a facility that's serving the public, I think then you can see that, wow, we needed to have a lot more than just that minimum.
So just for my information, that parking garage has 68 disabled parking space.
Yes.
I want to make sure I knew the number.
How many is the required number? 31,
22,
22?
big difference.
Yeah.
And I was not, where was I? Somehow I wasn't at the meeting last month, but Steve brought up about the stripes in between spaces, and somebody but some county but do not park on those stripes. So I wanted to bring that up to the committee tomorrow to look into. So I agree that it's more than minimum. It's a good example to show, and people need to know that.
My question is this something that we want to pursue with the county? Some kind of, I don't know if it's an ordinance or whatever, to look into requiring more spaces when in the larger areas.
That's what maybe the committee tomorrow, we could throw that.
Well, I just want to hear what other, you know, what I have to say about it.
Josh, Steve, anybody?
What?
You're talking about trying to follow up on whether they could increase the number of spaces required? Is that what you're asking about?
Yes. I mean, is this an issue that we want as a commission to pursue in St. Louis County? Or for St. Louis County, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, what Fairfax did was increase it for new construction or new pavements or repaints or whatever. You know, I don't know what it's written in our thing. It probably goes off our state, whatever our state regulations are in our county code. But
I think it's good practice to increase, especially as, you know, with population ages, to increase the number from the minimum. However, I do think the issue may be just enforcement of folks
Yeah.
parking there that
And that's what I was thinking of the stripes for example, do not park, but even I haven't seen them lately, but have a sign with the picture, so look, fine for that if you park in stripes. But that's one way of enforcing, but somebody has to take a picture and send that to the local police department. So you gotta take a picture of the car tag. You gotta take a picture of the car and show that they're strapped. So because I read somewhere that's what another county did, was taking pictures and sending it to the police department, and from there, the police department handled it.
Well, somebody had shared, or Dana had shared on email, that parking mobility app, that, that's part of what they do. I have that app and I've had it for, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years. And I used it early on for a while, but unless the community that you're using it in partners with them, nothing really happens with those. They use it to collect data. But if a community partners with the parking mobility app, um, there's a lot of good information out there. But what that does in a partnering community, it basically, whoever using it sends a picture and of the offending vehicle, and they can that would allow the partnering community to issue a ticket based on that. But what a lot of them do is they give them a chance to go to an education course about the value of accessible parking to try and get out of the ticket. So that's just one of the things I was thinking, that I would love to find a way to get us to be able to partner with that sort of app that, for our area, as a way to handle enforcement. Because generally, if you call the police, by the time they would get there, the people are gone or something. So
I wasn't thinking physically the police come to the space, but like I recently went to Florida and had to rent a car, and part of the package was an option that's told of, instead of every time to make sure you got the right change, they give you a pass, for lack of a better word, electronic device that's attached to the car of the dashboard. And every time I hit a certain exit and something, boom, not, not that loud, but automatically, it was like a click, and they automatically had your information. And because I have a rental car, it goes directly to the rental car company. But if it was your private car, they contact you by email saying you owe, and you can do it automatic. They take, like if you give them a credit card, they take it automatically out of your credit card. Um, and it's very popular in Florida. So I would think technology is out there to do something maybe in a smaller scale, not like an app. You mentioned an app, you could just scan the car tag.
Maybe,
I don't know, I'm not techie here, but
maybe it's more of a public service campaign, to let folks know, what happens when you utilize an accessible space, illegally. what happens to the people that actually do need it? So it's more of a public service campaign than, and by enforcement, yeah, that's exactly what I meant was the police department. I'm not sure that they would agree or have time for that. But when an individual takes a picture of a car or a license plate, you're putting that individual at risk. Because if someone's gonna park there that's not supposed to, and they see you taking a picture of their car, you don't know what they're gonna do.
Oh, that's true.
I get that. So this,
Yeah, I did have an experience like that. Um, I was getting my hair cut with my dad, and somebody in a Mercedes parked in the hash marks of this place where, like I said, I was getting my hair cut. They were blocking not just the hash marks, but the only ramp that sidewalk had. And I took a photo of the car. It was a big old Mercedes, and its license plate. Now nobody gave me any crap about it, thankfully, because I was fired up. I was ready for anything. If somebody was going to give me anything, I would have opened up both barrels. But I did tell the girl that cuts my hair, hey, you might want to look into this. And she said she would now. Whether she did or didn't, chances are she didn't, just because that's not her wheelhouse. And I understand that. But stuff like that, and this is over in just past, uh, what's that Honda dealership or Acura dealership on Manchester? North of, or no, on North Lindbergh, just north of, I think 40. Um, but yeah, that's that person, that entire complex is going through some construction area, but that Benz was really illegally parked in the hash marks.
Seems like there's two issues here. One is there's not enough handicap parking for legitimate card holders. And the other issue is that people are parking illegally or blocking parking, whatever, which is a law. I mean, one's a law enforcement issue and another is
I mean, that's,
an access issue. And, I think we could present both of those and see if the Committee on Disabilities of the council is interested at all in either of them. But see why we can't push them.
certainly can bring it up.
But I mean, I've been to many.
I mean, I want them to know that parking garage again, I talked about, point out they have more than minimum. Applying for the county doing that. We need to make more awareness because we are so talking about private businesses. So, like, how can we tie in the public PR campaign to say that if you park in these stripes, you would get fined? I also wonder how, is there any data of how much money they have collected from disabled parking? You know, if you actually go into a disabled parking space, who gets fined and has to pay for it? Is data collected on that? How do they enforce that?
Steve, does Fairfax County have enforcement as part of their?
Not sure if they had what they had on there. I know a few communities have done, and I sent that information along too, where they've done like volunteer um, parking enforcement for or accessible parking enforcement, where they have trained volunteers um, as one way to do it, and others partner with that parking mobility app that I told you about, and sometimes it's a combination. Um, so I don't know specifically on Fairfax County though.
Oh, I was just wondering if there's a, if there was to contact the, some of these counties and ask them, do they have any data on how much money they've collected and that? Because money always talks.
Well,
I had
oh, sorry, Steve.
okay. Well, when Dana sent that note about the parking mobility app, I did send an email to that person because I was thinking it would be he has not responded, but I could try again to see if he could do a presentation on how he collects the data and how his program works because I think there's some value in it. Like I said, I tried it early on, but it without a partnering community, it's not that effective. But
Um, the only thing I would add would be you can do a sunshine request regarding parking enforcement. Granted, it's a minor thing for law enforcement, I imagine. So unless they get a lot of complaints, chances are places like, I don't know, maybe Frontenac or, Creve Coeur or someplace like that, they're probably not going to get a heck of a lot of, you're probably not going to get a lot of responses or collection as far as fines are concerned. You're probably going to see people opting for some kind of sensitivity training that they do on a Saturday to wipe off any penalty on the books. That sort of thing.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Um, so do we need to ask for a show of hand if you feel that this is an issue that you would like to see commission to work on with the council? I see a couple. Okay, it seems like I see the show of hands here. Before I go any further, do we have someone representing the top Department of Human Service? They are voting for the council. Mr. Hayes has left. Did they want someone?
The director is Amber Banner.
Is she here? Okay. Uh, okay, we can, think there's any comments now? If there's not any more comments, I'm gonna go to the next topic. Thank you, ADA coordinator report was finished. And we're going to odor business Sue Orton. They had to give any updates in the odor adult commission.
Sue just sent me a text that said she has to leave, but there was no older adult report or meeting.
Okay. Okay. And I think we've already talked about this, the assessment and transportation, accessible parking spaces. So I think it's the same thing we were just talking about. I understand we had someone here today, for public comment. Please introduce yourself and what organization you represent, and please make your presentation brief. Thank you.
So wait, you're wanting them to go ahead, we have that registered?
And they have to wait. They're here, right?
Okay, so which person are you wanting us to?
There's 3 different people. Are you the person that's confused?
There's 3 on there right
Do
no one-
3 of you want to spill one register? If I get that. But I'm asking since they're here to make the comment brief and maybe come back again.
now. Maybe like
I
a
don't know
right
who
now.
they are. No, who
Why
they
don't we
are.
get their name and why they're here and then ask them to come back next month and register?
One person already wrote in the comments, I have no public comments, just here as a guest viewer.
Oh, okay.
So it's one person like to just introduce themselves, what organization and what is your issue, and we can ask you to register and come back next month.
You, but it doesn't, it looks like they've left. So.
Don't laugh. They just wanted to attend the meeting.
Yes. Okay, well, and I think you mentioned that ADA report about them somewhere. Oh, after the roll call, you mentioned that they need to be registered. So, okay. If no one's here today to speak up, I call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got that? Thank you. The next meeting is April 14th. April 4th, tax day. Get your taxes done. So, thank you. Have a good day. Hope the weather stays lovely.
See ya.